for a review of what's making the headlines in the papers this morning, let's bring in a RISE analyst, Dr. Constance Ikokwu. Good morning, Dr. Constance.
Good morning, Yolanda.
It's wonderful to see you.
Looking great today.
Thank you, thank you, thank you
I
very much.
actually said that when I first stepped into the studio. I said, are you a journalist or a model?
Oh, you're far too kind.
It's both, isn't it?
You're far too kind.
Presentation is important.
Absolutely.
You look good yourself, Charles.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you too.
Same here.
Okay, to look at the papers with us today, we have Doyum Nazenga. He is the Abuja Bureau Chief of Daily Times and Head Northern Operations. Hello there and welcome to the program. We'll begin with this day. There we have Army Chief Oluyede relocates to Benue to lead offensive against Marauding Invaders. This information was shared by the Army on its X account. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede's relocation to Makurdi, the Benue state capital, will be temporary. It was reported that Oluyede had also just returned from the northeast rather, where he temporarily relocated following a minor setback in the Operation Hardin Kai that is over there in the northeast. Well, we do have theaters of operation across the country due to enduring challenge to the territorial integrity of Nigeria. How significant is this movement by the Army Chief, Doyum? Do you think it makes or it will make a dent?
Yeah. Thank you very much. When news broke that the Army Chief has relocated temporarily to Benue State, it was cheering because the situation of Benue is very particular, and it appears to, on a daily basis, continue to escalate. And this decision by the Army Chief to step in the situation and move directly, himself, suggests there's the level of seriousness with which he or the Army authorities have attached to the situation. One, it will restore greatly level of confidence in the residents of the state. Two, it will boost the morale of the troops who are there. Against this, there's a background to the crisis in Benue. Initially, we started. We thought there were mere farmer clashes. But then it continued to escalate with multiple dimensions to it. And just before the relocation, news broke that the Army Chief had relocated temporarily to Benue State. There were petitions by groups from Benue, a very recent one by a very respected senior advocate of Nigeria, petitioned to the Nigerian authorities and then wrote straight to the Army. We were wondering, could the relocation temporarily of the Army Chief to Benue, is it coincidental or is as a result of the various petitions that have come up? Let's see how the next couple of days, let's see how the situation will be brought under control. We do hope that it will indeed be permanently brought to a halt.
Well,
Yeah.
they talk about relocation constant. So, relocation means he has permanently moved into, temporarily moved into Benue State, but then the duration. Because sometimes I remember there was a time when under the Buhari administration, it was said that the IGP had relocated to Benue State. It turned out to be a 24-hour visit. He went to Benue State today, left Benue State the next day, but they said it was a relocation. So let's see. I hope this is not a political relocation. And in any case, the petitions from some quarters and complaints also, indicated either reticence by the military or outright collusion with the armed herders. So, okay, fine. Let the Army Chief of Staff, the Chief of Army Staff should stay in Benue for a more prolonged period so that he could actually direct operations satisfactorily and ensure that the people are well protected and the invaders are driven out of the communities they have occupied. And, of course, for those who are colluding with the army, also, with the invaders, also fish them out and let them face justice. I think that will help.
You know, in conventional wars, do you remember that usually army chiefs will be at the war front, leading their people. So well, we're not fighting conventional wars, but just a thought. Okay, let's look at Daily Independent. Afeniferes' views on Tinubu echoing opposition, according to presidency, says claim of neutralizing legislature, judiciary, false alarm. The presidency has berated Afeniferes, saying a faction of the Pan-Yoruba Socio-Cultural Organization is jaundiced in its assessment of the president's achievements so far. Afeniferes had said the country witnessed regression in the past 2 years, mentioning democratic backsliding and economic mismanagement. While the president's men specifically here, the special advisor on media and communication, Sunday Dare, is left fighting fires. You have to give it to some elements in the Southwest who have shied away from jumping into or onto the Jagaban bandwagon. They see things a little bit differently. But also we note that some other people in the Southwest, politicians and individuals alike, have lacked the courage to speak up against the president, even when they do not agree with his brand of politics and politicking and what he's been doing in the past 2 years. So this is a bit different, Charles. No, sorry. Let's have Doyu comment on that.
No problem. There appears to be some running battles between the Afeniferes and the presidency. I mean, if I've tried to follow what is happening. Well, Afeniferes is a group that in the beginning never even believed in the Jagaban movement. So I think that has snowballed into some of these, conflicts or clashes from time to time. And then it appears they have taken a very hard stance on the policies of government. And of course, you should also trust that government will not just let things slide. I mean, some of these assertions, when they are dumped or they are made against the government, they also take a swipe or respond. So this is just typical of, to the best of my knowledge, what is happening between the two groups or the camps. The Jagaban group appears to be, the presidency appears to be on a move, like a moving train, and is ready to crush whatever or whoever that stands in its way. So Afeniferes, if I were Afeniferes, it's good to say the faction of Afeniferes. That also means that there's something not just right within the group itself.
Sorry, if I may step in here. Let's not forget that the president and Afeniferes have a history. As a matter of fact, I remember when Bola Tinubu was elected as governor of Lagos State. It was with overwhelming. In fact, the Lagos state government was like an Afeniferes government. Lagos was more like the headquarters of the Afeniferes movement, even though it's a pan-Yoruba organization. But somewhere along the line, I mean, I really can't tell exactly what the issues were, but there was a disconnect, a separation between the two parties. Now, fast forward to 2025 with President Bola Tinubu running Nigeria, not just Lagos State alone. Now, the Afeniferes are actually citing the realities, the naked realities Nigerians are facing at the moment, while the president's handler, Sunday Dare, specifically is actually bringing out facts and figures. Okay. So everyone has his own arsenal of points, but as far as Afeniferes is concerned, as long as those figures provided by Dare do not translate into succor for the Nigerian citizens, then apparently the president, as far as they are concerned, has let them down.
All right, let's look at another paper, Daily Sun. APC rules out automatic tickets for NAS members. There were reports suggesting the party had granted these tickets, but now we're being told that news is fake. I mean, it will seem odd for all the members of the party in the National Assembly or any other posts, by the way, to be returned to office without competitive primaries. It just undermines that merit-based system or selection. And discourages new and credible aspirants, doesn't it, Charles? Or anyone can come in here, actually. You do need a system that is competitive politically for, new blood. If not, it kills the morale in the party. People feel like there's a strangulation in terms of generational movement in politics.
But then I now wonder if this is going to be the case, then maybe it should be what is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander.
Yes.
For instance, governors of the People's Democratic Party are defecting to the All Progressives Congress because, well, according to feelers we are getting, it guarantees them an automatic ticket. Otherwise, if it's left to free and fair elections, then of course they probably would lose out to the APC candidates in their state. So that sort of democracy that seems to be prevalent these days, where the winner of elections is predetermined, and then whatever happens at the polls, they say go to court. And of course, we know exactly what the courts would do under the circumstances. So this time around, I'm hearing something a bit discordant from within the APC itself, that no automatic ticket for lawmakers. But is it going to be a specific set of lawmakers, or is it going to be across the board?
I mean, you can't give it to everybody. I mean, it's impossible. That would be a joke of a party.
Oh, well, I mean, is that not what we're seeing lately?
Okay.
Yeah,
did you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to
very
add,
briefly.
yes, because the party will not be fair to the lawmakers if they decide not to give them automatic tickets, because they have the party adopted a president as the sole candidate for 2027. So, I mean, why would you deny the lawmakers who were elected on the same platform a chance to automatic ticket?
You have a point there.
Yes.
Yeah, I cannot argue with you. You have a point there. But not everybody can get automatic ticket. Okay.
Well,
let's see new telegraph.
Our animals are equal, so
let's see new telegraph. Here, this is a photo. It's photo news. We're going to examine this photo. President Bola Tinubu confers National Award of Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, OFR, on the founder of Gates Foundation, Bill Gates, in Lagos. We're told he was recognized for his interventions in maternal health, agriculture, and infectious diseases research. The president was quoted here. All I need to say is to thank you, Bill Gates, for your indivisible commitment to humanity. It is highly remarkable. It is an inspiration to leaders across the world, including the one standing before you. The president's quote, that's end of quote. Not sure what to make of this. I don't even know who advised or whose idea it was to confer this OFR. Bill Gates has been a controversial man in recent years, especially with his foray into health matters across the world and in Africa especially. Some question his intentions. These controversies have also highlighted the complexities and challenges that come with private influence in health. Billionaires making decisions for countries, especially poor countries. We remember that during the COVID-19 pandemic, Gates opposed waiving intellectual property rights for vaccines on grounds that it could compromise safety and equality. Critics said it hindered vaccine access to low-income countries. I mean, these are questions of disproportionate influence on health matters, potential conflicts of interest, lack of transparency. In short, there's a lot going on with Gates and his foundation and billionaires making a foray into this sector. Anybody can jump in here.
I'd like to jump in here just to put in a little statement. There's definitely mixed reactions about this news, because you have some people agreeing with what the presidency is saying and doing, but you also have a very large population of people, not just in Africa, but the West as well, talking about how dangerous some of the initiatives have been with Bill Gates in past years. I know that the internet is riddled with documentaries and investigations on some of these vaccines, on some of these, on some of these programs that are held in African nations, the agenda behind them, and then here we are, Nigeria, congratulating this, kind of endorsing this and putting our stamp. So it's really difficult to say because there's so many opposing opinions on this, and on this part, I'm definitely with the critics.
We're aware that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has been very active here in Nigeria, especially interventions in the health sector. Well, I mean, I wouldn't go into that, but the question I'm asking is, do these interventions really merit a CFR for Bill Gates?
OFR.
OFR. Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic. That's a CFR. So it's a CFR,
well,
not an
in
Commander
this story it says,
of the Order. Then, of course, look at it
maybe
again.
there's a mistake, but in this article it says OFR. Well, not article, the photo. But anyway, controversies. Definitely,
so.
We need to pay attention. The Punch newspaper, flood alert, NEMA deploys teams in 15 high-risk states. These teams are meant to enlighten residents on the impending floods and the need to relocate from flood-prone areas. It said the victims of the Mokwa flood lived in gully areas and were therefore caught unawares. The state's teams were sent to include Kogi, Imo, Enugu, Adamawa, Taraba, Borno, Zamfara, Katsina, and the FCT. The rainy season usually runs from April to October. I mean, warning is good, but I guess citizens also need help to relocate, don't they?
Absolutely. Is this the time to say it? This should have come months ago. This should have come with action years ago. Not years ago, but like earlier in the year. Why are we only advising these people who are already in a dire situation? I'm sorry, Doyin, I think you were about to say something.
Yeah, I was about to say something. The early warnings that have been issued, NIMET agencies like NIMET keeps issuing advisories. What I don't understand, the residents also, people need to begin to take full responsibilities for the decisions that they make. For instance, I mean, going to site or locate or settle in places that are prone to these natural disasters. I call them natural disasters. I mean, we should be able to exercise a stronger sense of judgment to know where to settle.
Okay.
Most especially that we understand the kind of society, the climate that we have found ourselves, where government appears not to.
If you leave the people alone, they will do exactly what they want. So there is also government's responsibility to enforce. That's the problem. We don't have enough enforcement. You tell people not to build in the floodplain, they go ahead and build, and the government is standing there and watching. I mean, if a place is designated as a disaster area, then ensure that people don't build there.
No, that's true.
So the award on Mr. Bill Gates is CFR. Okay, so that settles it. Let's move on to the international papers. Daily Graphic, $2.5 billion industrial hub stores squatters swarm site. So they're having this problem. This project has faced setbacks for 7 years because there's a dispute with squatters. The manufacturer site is supposed to produce a lot of building materials. Onto the Citizen, ghost workers eat billions. Tens of thousands of bogus employee pay is being collected by others. The worst offenders are the police, Department of Education, and the Passenger Rail Agency, PRASA. That's the state-owned enterprise responsible for passenger rail services. What has come, Yolanda? We do have the same problem in Nigeria, although the government has, for some years now, been tackling it. Ghost workers, we call it in Nigeria.
This ghost worker thing is very unfortunate, where you have these government payrolls that are being siphoned off of such significant funds. I'm not sure if the amount was mentioned of how much, but they're saying it's eaten in the billions.
Billions.
And I mean, it's such a sad case because we have this here on home soil as well.
Let's look at another story. This is between President Trump and Elon Musk.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure you must have seen it. Musk blasts Trump agenda bill as disgusting abomination. And this has caught White House officials off guard in lashing out at the president, while he tries to get this bill through Congress. Trump said, and I quote, "I'm sorry, but I can't stand this anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. Wow, talk about a tirade.
Wow.
Didn't we know that the bromance between these, super alpha males will go sour? It seems to have run its course. But the bill, by the way, is running into trillions of dollars and will reshape the federal budget. So for some people, it's a no-no. Anyone can jump in here on these two men.
Big, beautiful bill versus disgusting abomination. Two polar opposites. Well, that now sums up the direction, the relationship between President Donald Trump and his very good friend Elon Musk is heading. So apparently the bromance, if not effectively over, at least there is a crack between the two men now. So, well, we'll just keep our fingers crossed and see where all this is heading. But I mean, it's amazing. You know, Musk has supported Trump all the way.
Yes.
First of all, before he got elected, after he got elected, Trump actually rewarded him with a position within the government. And, you know, it came at a bit of a sacrifice to Musk because his businesses were taking a hit as a result of the unpopularity of the Trump programs he was supporting. But now, somehow, he first of all left the government because, yes, I mean, I could sense the fatigue in Musk. And now, a particular bill, Trump's big, beautiful bill, now appears as a disgusting abomination to Elon Musk.
And he didn't waste any time with it either. I think what is most fascinating to me about this is the response from Trump's administration when they said, well, we were expecting this. Mr. Trump already knew that this is where Elon stands, and we just stood by the sideline saying, yes, sure,
No,
I'm sure you did.
Coming,
not at all.
They didn't
not
see it
at all.
coming. Let's see Financial Times. Korea change, opposition's lead in poll win. Exactly 6 months after a failed martial law bid, Korea's opposition candidate Lee Jong-myung secured 49% of total votes to win the election. Lee pledged to protect democracy, raising hopes of an end to the judicial turmoil that engulfed Asia's fourth largest economy. I mean, the people won here. We know that all through this political crisis, the Korean people showed that the power lies with the people, didn't they? I mean, they trooped out to the streets. They insisted, you know, our democracy cannot be truncated. Doyumi can come in here if you want.
Yeah. Maybe we can see.
Well,
Sure,
we've almost
no
run out of time. So
can I just maybe make a comment on that?
No.
You know, it's just after all the martial law that happened, the declaration in December, I think that what Lee has been handed down is a tremendously big burden. It's going to be a very tough job, and so I just wish him the best of luck. You know, everything that has been happening, you know, the martial law was messy. I think we carried that news for a couple of months. So to see this win is great for the people, as you say, Dr. Constance, but the burden is going to be very heavy to carry.
yeah,
What I
huge
like- what I like-
responsibility.
Yeah, sorry, what I like about this particular leader is that he's trying to provide a balance between the relationship between South Korea and the US and South Korea and China.
Yes.
So not
Right.
leaning in any specific direction.
Right.
I think at the end of the day, South Korea will be the better off for it.
Okay, finally, to the newspaper, UK to stockpile military medical supplies for nuclear attacks. Preparations for conflict include radiation protection suits, gas mask, decontamination agents, iodine, and trauma kits. The kids it needs to, or the kids are for army officials, and they're also thinking about how to manage mass casualties. We'll have to leave it there. Doyum Nazenga, Abuja Bureau Chief of Daily Times and Head, Northern Operations. Thank you once again for being here today.
Right. Pleasure's mine.
And thank you so much, Dr. Constance, for also running today's newspaper review. That's all we have time for here on Daybreak. I'm Charles Eruka. It's goodbye from me.
And I'm Yolanda Robert. Please do keep it here on Arise News. The morning show is next. Goodbye.